Oh fuck, I just had the scariest thought. So I was thinking about why I'm in pain, why I was had trouble walking, the neurological disorder, my mother drugging me, poisoning me, all that, I'm having like my flashback, thinking about the doctors, how they're corrupt in this town, how my roommate just had his thyroid swell up after they checked his thyroid, and all of a sudden there's a big lump on his thyroid. We've already caught doctors malpracticing right in front of me. I've had so many customers say they've been malpracticed at Frisbee. There's so much of these thoughts going ahead. So I'm thinking of my mother, and I go, oh shit, I'm thinking about all the times she gave me pills. I'm thinking about the time at the courthouse. And I get to my mother's friend's house. Now, the scary thought is the cookie I got didn't really do very much. I wonder if I got the wrong cookie. Did my mother care if she ever gave anybody else medication other than me? She sure thought that Tim needed pills all the time and talking about how other children should be taking pills. Oh shit. Did my mother give the other kid my cookie? Oh shit. And the mother's friend would never know that her kid took a massive dose of pill cookie. And he sure was quiet for that play date, and I was sure doing all the talking. Yeah, oh shit. Hmm. I don't remember being brought over to that friend's house. Also, there was only two cookies on the tray. My mother jumped when the kid tried to take a cookie and had a switch. Also, my first response was, there's probably medication in my cookie. I didn't know, I didn't have an answer, but my mother's always giving me medication, and that's the only thing I could come up with why she would want me to take a cookie but not somebody else. But my mother was crazy. She could easily have mixed up those cookies. I mean, it's not like she marked them with food dye. And why would you only cook two cookies? Why would you throw away all the other cookies and only bring out two cookies on a tray? I mean, they definitely was only two cookies on a actual cooking sheet. Shit. What a scary thought. Now I'll go over exactly what happened. My mother asked me if I could. She said she was gonna be bringing me to a play date. One of her friends has a kid. Yeah, I'm like, whatever, cool. 7 years old in Westford, maybe 6. Like I know anything. I don't even know the word commitment or commit. I still don't even understand what that means yet. So my intelligence level is very low at the age of 6 or 7. Plus, I spent most of my like fully where you fully develop your development years. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Living in an orphanage, jumping from home to home, taking bits and pieces of knowledge. The first time I ever saw any fire was when I met my crazy mother, Patricia, and my adopted mother as well. But there's a lot of craziness with the adoption. I probably should have questioned her answers about a long time ago, like why I would get so tired that I pass out on a wooden bench during the adoption or one process of it, why I would have to be so tired that I want to curl up on the floor during my own adoption party, like a birthday party where I'm getting gifts, but yet the following day and the next day when I took pills, those pills didn't do the same thing. My mother gives me pills, those pills kick in, I can't stay awake and I'm curled up passed out for important events. The next day, at the exact same time of day, I'm playing outside, catching bees on my hand and looking for butterflies and running around the house and stuff like that. When she gives me the pills, sometimes I have a reaction and something happens. There was even an overdose at one time. There was a time when she gave me a full bottle of Epicac. Just a lot of crazy shit. Halloween, I used to get a weird sickness. One time vomiting, another time sick to my stomach, pale, feeling super weak. Another time I just felt super weak, like I don't know. And there was some weird shit going on with my blood counts where they had to draw my blood every week. They said it was from my medicine, but they couldn't quite figure out what it was going on. It was just from one of my medicines, but there was a lot of other weird shit going on. I also would lose my appetite, gain my appetite. There was food poisoning with no doctors there. There was overdose where I wasn't allowed to see doctors. There was a fall in Maine where I shook to the ground and I wasn't allowed to see doctors. All through New Mexico, I wasn't allowed to see doctors. And when I mentioned my physical health and these medication reaction, my mother would take me out of those doctors right away and not let me see those physical doctors. Really problematic for somebody who has as much problems as me, who's they say they might die from being underweight. As soon as anybody tries to help with my coordination or my movements, I just get transplanted to another state halfway across the country or transplanted. There's a lot of crazy shit going on. But at the age of 6 or so, my mother's bringing me on a play date. I'm playing with this kid next to a gray couch. We're on the floor, not on the couch. We do eventually sit on the couch, but we're playing, and he has some weird toys. I think, oh wow, there was a couple toys I really liked. I can't remember. I want to say that maybe there was puppies at one time, but there was a bunch of friends with puppies of my mother's. There was always some friend of my mother's with a bunch of puppies or something, so it might be hard to pinpoint that, but I want to say that there was a month prior, I was brought over for 5 minutes for my mother to talk to somebody in the kitchen. So this building or this apartment is familiar. A gray couch, windows on the back of the couch, and then windows straight in front of me, and then TV to my right or a wall to my right. And then there's a little indent, I guess, where a bathroom is, and then on the other indent or where there's an opening is the kitchen. I don't ever go into the kitchen. I do make it into the bathroom and the living room only. I'm playing with this kid. My mother comes out of the kitchen with a cookie tray with just 2 cookies on it. He goes for a cookie first. I just go for whatever one he doesn't want after. It's much slower. But my mother goes, you can't have that one. That one's Zach's. You gotta have that one. So we all take the cookie we're assigned. My mother goes into the kitchen, does her thing. I'm eating my cookie. He's looking at his cookie, eating it, looking at it, eating it, looking at it, eating it. And he looks to me at 6, 7 years old and goes, "What's wrong with my cookie?" And I go, "Nothing. It's probably my cookie. She probably put pills in it." And I really don't know. This isn't actually what I believe. I just couldn't figure out what was going on, so I just shot out what it could be. I take pills at this time every day. My mother's always doing something with giving me with pills, and she wants me to take this only cookie. Well, I didn't think much of it. I didn't think that was the case. It was just a guess, and then I was like, It's just a guess. I don't know." It wasn't like I gave him a straight up answer. It was like, maybe it's my medication. I don't know, something like that. Kind of shrugged off, and he kind of just shrugged it off. Ate his cookie. I ate mine. The play date went fine. I seemed to be awake and didn't all. It almost seemed like I wasn't medicated during that one. But now that I remember, he wasn't playing very much. Um, that could be nothing. Maybe this kid is just somebody who's calm, or maybe he was worried about the cookie he was given. I don't know. But now, at the age of 31, I'm very worried about my mother's actions and what she was doing to me. I mean, you could accidentally slip the wrong kid a cookie. Why not just give me my meds? And if it's not meds, what the fuck was up with those cookies? Why only 2 cookies? And why did I have to take one cookie and he couldn't have it? They both look the same. They're both the same batter. They're both the same ingredients, right? What the fuck does it matter which cookie we get? This is crazy. This is crazy shit from my mother. And no matter how many questions I asked my mother, she would never give me straight answers. She never gave my father straight answers. Not about the overdose, not about me bumping in furniture. Even when there's 10 witnesses seeing me jump into a pool, I get sliced on the back of my heel by a fence. My mother's still trying to act like this is some mental illness and trying to get me put on pills. Oh, he's some serial killer. He's a fire setter. He's psycho. He has attachment disorder. He's bipolar. He's depressed. He's suicidal. What else can we add on? Oh, self-harmer. Meanwhile, she's the one harming me. Sucking on your skin, trying to figure out what change happened in your body after your mother gave you an overdose is not self-harming. Jumping in a pool is not self-harming. None of that stuff is self-harming. Until I'm about 16, I'm in high school and I'm goth. And I'm sick of it. Everybody thinks I'm some self-harmer already, so I try it out and it doesn't do anything really for me. But at least it fits the goth lifestyle. That was my high school thing. I was more of an emo because I mixed like skulls with rainbows. I even had a skull rainbow sweater with a Vietnam jacket from my bus driver over it. One of my favorite combos. And the skull rainbow sweater was an illusion where you only could see the skull from exactly 7 feet away. If you went farther than that, you couldn't see it because it blended into the rainbow. And if you were too close, it just looked like a bunch of little black print randomly spread through the rainbow colors. But if you stood just the right distance, like you would see people go, "Oh, it's a skull." I say, "Yep, you saw it, huh?" Yeah, yeah, I saw it. I was like, "Yep, it's a rainbow hoodie with a Vietnam jacket. But if you stand the right distance, it's a skull." Now here's the kicker. That hoodie was from a girl who wanted to meet me at a psych ward that was gorgeous. But she was living in a program and she jumped out of her window and broke her arm trying to commit suicide. Yeah, she was in the woman's orphanage or the little girl's orphanage. She was like 18, 17, no, 18. So she was on, yeah, we both were very young. Um, yeah, actually, I got that right in between being homeless. So 18 to 19 years old. Oh, oh. No, no, no. I gave that to her. I didn't get that from her. I gave that to her. Where the fuck did I get that favorite hoodie? I got the Vietnam vest from a bus driver. I got the hoodie. Oh, I traded it on a list out of Haverhill. Yes, I did. Yup. Right at the end of Haverhill. I was able to trade it off because it was too big for one of the other kids. And the sleeves were too big for me a little bit. But by the time I was through with Lawrence, it fit perfect with the Vietnam jacket. And at age 19, I was in a work to school program, still working as a teacher's aide. And that's why I was still wearing the rainbow skull hoodie at that time. And when I got thrown out of my house because I took illegal drugs that my stepmother had. Yeah, my mother just passed away. My father just got hospitalized. My sister just pulled all the clothes, all my sheets off as I'm in the morning of being a man, whatever, well, whatever you want to call it. I'm just having just one thing after another. I'm still following my father's and mother's treatment, but it's fucking with me terribly. I'm still in fuck a la la land because my mother still has me convinced of all this shit because I'm only fucking like 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 years old. And every single step of the way, she's bringing me to a new state and a new state and a new town and a new state and a new town and a new state. So I'm just trying to keep up with all these changes every fucking 2 years. Also, I mean, I'm getting hit by bricks left and right, finding out my father took this, and my father took that, and my father took this, and my father took that. I'm like, motherfucker, how many times am I going to have to forgive him and have him lie to my face? I mean, goddamn, his lawyer basically told me, and I did a little bit of investigating and found out, yep, my father stole my inheritance by lying to me. by manipulating and by not giving me rides when he should have been giving them to me. So basically, not fulfilling his fatherly duty, lying and manipulating. We got my Social Security when I was supposed to be getting clothing in a place called Haverhill every month with the other orphans. My father made sure I got $0 a month and decided to do his own shopping during Christmas and school. And that way he could budget it out to maybe like $300 a year and 100 with Christmas present bonus. 400 a year is enough for a kid. Something like that. Meanwhile, every other, I'm living there. I'm living like any other orphan. Except for I'm the only kid who doesn't get any clothing money. I'm not kidding. I spent 24 days actually 24 to 26 days a month in an orphanage. We'll do 24 and give my father credit for about 6 days a month, maybe. That's fair. We could say 22 to 26 or something like that. That would be a good range. 22 to 26 days every month. I'm in the same program as all these other kids with no parents. They're all growing up in these orphanage programs. They all got taken away from their mothers or stuff like that. At the end, there was one big giant kid, 18 years old, that some rich person just dropped a bunch of money. They watched him for like 6 months or 4 months, and then boom, he was gone. But other than that, all the kids are just like 16, 17, 18. Couple, there was a 13-year-old that was my roommate. Oh yeah, by the way, I was always the nice kid, always getting along with everybody. So the super young kids who just came in were always paired off with me. I always got the young kids. Now, that was okay with me because I had like Pokemon tapes and shit that my dad was like, here's a bunch of, well, go through these movies. You can bring them, yeah. Um, yeah, this isn't getting fun anymore. I'm like 17 years old, and only thing I'm allowed to do is smoke. That's it. I'm not allowed to do nothing else. I'm allowed to smoke or watch Pokemon. There has to be more than life than Pokemon. And by the way, I've seen that Pokemon tape now for about, I don't know, 10 years and a loop, and I've probably invested about, I don't know, 180 hours into that one tape. And the only other tape I got from a staff member a long time ago, and I snuck it into the collection by giving him a little money on the side and then saying it disappeared. Yeah. I said, can I just give you a couple bucks for it? He said, I'll take the money and you can disappear it, but I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear it. You didn't get it from me. And I found it on YouTube. It was a really inappropriate version of Spawn from HBO on VCR tape. Because one TV that I used was just VCR tapes. No cable, nothing. And then the older kids would be stupid and fight over the cable. Never anything good. Never anything good. Fight over it. I would go try to find VCR tapes, but most of them were just staff members bringing me places where like there was a flea market where we tried to find it, but there was slim pickings there. And VCR was out by now. This is already when DVD is going out. Blu-ray's coming to be, and DVD has been out for a long time, and nobody has any VCR tapes anymore. VCR was out when I was in Texas. VCR went out when I was in Texas. I remember having trouble finding my recorder tapes. The recorder I had those tapes, like the regular tapes that you put into like your car. Those started going out with the VCR tapes when I was in Texas. By the time we got back through New Mexico, where all I did was play outside and get choked, no really any education. That place was fucked up. Totally just a scam, just a money scam. They were faking it until they made it. Eventually, they were going to build a big program, so they just took a bunch of money from people, kind of faking like they had it, put the kids in this big cabin, and then, eventually they'll build the pool. But for now, these kids can play with the rattlesnakes and the red ant hills, and, we'll just put a staff in a window, and it'll be fine. And then when we collect all the money, then we can build the pool, the dorms, and all that. We can hire the real people to come in. So I didn't get that. I didn't get the real treatment, but my father got scammed. Next, my mother thought it was a great idea to homeschool me when my father decided to go, I'll clean up and make some property sales. I'm going to be a big property salesman. I want to be that mogul buying and selling properties. And I'm going to trade my son's education and his future and his health to do it. I mean, who cares? He's fine, right? He only weighs fucking like 70 pounds soaking wet. Fucking is shaking to the ground. My wife is just totally fucked him all over. But he'll be fine, right? I can just sell a couple of houses and my wife will just homeschool and that won't make him any worse. Yeah, these decisions were real bad. But when I think about these things, I come to new conclusions. Like, for instance, I just told you about one. So my mother gave me a cookie on a plate, told me I had to take a specific cookie, and the kid who was taking a cookie wasn't allowed to have that cookie. Well, yes, there probably was meds in a cookie. I realized that at about age 19, 20. Actually, I realized it right at the time, but I didn't really. It was just something I said and was kind of like, maybe that's, I don't know, I don't know nothing. I was 6, 7 years old. I just knew there was meds, and it was in the afternoon, and I wasn't allowed to take another cookie, so maybe meds could go in cookies. And in one of my hospital stays, they put my meds in applesauce and told me that they show you it. They show you. And when you're in the hospital, they say, okay, see this pill, see this capsule? We're going to put this capsule in the applesauce. We're going to break it open and we're going to put it in the applesauce. And then you're supposed to eat all the applesauce, okay, Zach? That was when I was about, I don't know, 5, something like that. That was probably when my mother tried to say I was burning the house down and drilled it into me that that's what I'm doing, and I was all confused. All I did was try to light a match. There was no house involved. I just saw a fire that, oh, that's cool matches. Oh, that's fire. Oh, cool. How do you work these things? How do you? Oh no, I'm not. Ah, man, I'm out of matches. I didn't even get one to lit. Then my mother comes in there. You're trying to light the house down, aren't you? No. Yes, you are. You see those matches there? You're going to light the house down if you play with those matches. So you're trying to light the house down, aren't you? Well, I don't know. Well, is that what I'm doing? I'm thinking in my head, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm just lighting a match, but I didn't get any of the lights, so I'm not really lighting them. I don't know. No, but I'm not trying to burn the house down. Yes, you are, because you used matches in a closet, so you're trying to burn the house down. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Drilled it into me. By the time my father got involved, I was totally confused. I think that was when I was in the hospital and the doctors started putting pills in applesauce. So when my mother was trying to do this cookie thing on a play date, I already kind of had some experience with this, but I really didn't know. And in the hospital, they tell you about it. But now that I'm an adult, what is the danger of doing something like that with a second kid around? The wrong kid gets the fucking cookie, dumbass. What the fuck was wrong with my mother? Extra Epicac. What's the danger of giving your child a full bottle of Epicac as a punishment? Well, let me see. Esophagus damage, stomach damage, fear, PTSD, and a hard to get attached to that person. There's probably a lot of damage. How about stealing your child's swimming medal that he won in an orphanage for doing the best job at treading water? Well, it was just treading water. It wasn't a big deal, but still, it builds up your child's self-esteem, and then you get adopted later, and your mother steals it away from you, gets you drugged and put on pills for it. What's the problem with telling a doctor fantasies about a swimming medal? Well, maybe those get established, and then your child gets hurt by the medication, or maybe you don't read the paperwork, or maybe you're not realizing the side effects, or maybe you accidentally slipped your own meds there, or maybe you did it on purpose. What is the danger of slipping a child your own meds while you push and get him other medications that might have wicked bad side effects? Well, let me see. Overdose, breathing, brain damage, nervous system damage, psychotic behavior, sleepiness, loss of appetite, appetite gain, seizures, all different types of things can happen. So my mother was a fucking lunatic. And if my father says otherwise, then he's just in fantasy land still. I came out of it. I'm an adult now. The stuff that my father saw with his own 2 eyes is very clear. And he's had his son, his other son, his daughter, his grandson. Just Everybody has at one point or another been like, wake the fuck up. What is she saying over there? She just said it's okay to poison your child with medication. This is fucked up shit, Dad. No, it isn't. It's fine. That sounds like something Raymond would say. A guy I know who's age 50 with the intelligence of a 7-year-old. Now, he might not know what to do in that situation. If somebody was literally drugging a child, they would get away with it with Raymond, maybe David. But my father, how could he be in Fantasyland with his wife saying all this shit? I've seen a lot of people who want to put themselves in the Fantasyland so they don't have to deal with shit. But my father shouldn't be one of those people who do that. But maybe he just wasn't strong enough to say, "What the fuck are you saying, wifey? Did you just admit that it's okay to give Zach extra medication? Is that what you just? Oh, okay. You're going in the fucking hospital, not Zach this time. You're going. No, no, no. You're going. Yeah, I've heard you say that Zach's a self-harmer for jumping in a pool. You've now admitted to giving him extra medication. You keep on telling doctors about that he needs all these drugs. I haven't seen any of this stuff. We got family members coming up and speaking to me about it. We got our grandson afraid of you. You got the police coming to the house. You got your work telling you to go into therapy. You know what? I think you need to go into the hospital for a while, and I think that you might need to leave Zach alone. That would have been the right thing for a father to do. Or how about when your wife is drinking after she just spent a couple months in the fucking hospital with liver failure? You've been told that 20% of her liver's working. She has a light yellow tint to her eyes and skin. You know that she can't drink or take pills. You know that she drank quite a bit before this liver problems happened. She says she wants to see the family and come home. They allow her to come home and see the family, say goodbye, stuff like that. She blows past her family, races to the liquor store like it's a frickin' end zone, opens the cabinet up, gets the glasses ready, starts pouring liquor in there, cranberry juice, vodka, no extra vodka. Let's fill it up with vodka and just put a pinch of cranberry. Okay, now she gets back down, she can barely stand up, looks like she's gonna pass out. She plops down on the couch, starts drinking. My father's running away in the kitchen trying not to look at what's going on. No, you go over, take that drink out of her hand, throw it in the fucking sink, and take her bottles, dump it down the fucking drain, and say, go to fucking bed. You can talk to Zach. I'll call the family, come over. We'll get together. We'll say goodbye. We can have some hangouts. You want something to eat? We'll get something to eat. Oh, it's too stressful to have family over? Well, Zach, you came here to take care of her, right? Then why don't you make her some food and just sit with her and watch the TV? Can you do that? Yeah, I can. Why the fuck does it have to always be so crazy? Why does my father always have to be like whispering in her ear, please, please don't drink, after I fucking am already being up in his face like, hey, I want to smash those bottles. I want to take that drink away from her. But you told me it's not my place to handle you two. So, handle it. He didn't handle it. I had to leave. I had to leave. I don't think my father knows how to handle what is a level of wicked, like, oh my God, shit. Instead, he just allows other people to get hurt for his lack of action, like me. I've suffered for 25 years because my mother was a complete nut and my father's lack of action. Still today, when I go to the doctors or I go to the Department of Health and Human Services or I go to a shelter or I go to work or I go to Social Security, still to this day, my father's lack of action is hitting me like a fucking bag of rocks. And who knows how many other people's lives have been hurt or affected. I don't really know how much my mother really did with her nutty shit. I know what she did to me. There's family members that know what she said. They know what she did. I know what she did. You put it all together, and this is dangerous. And I am very, very hurt, and I am going to have to get medical care for what she did to me. And if my father keeps it a secret and keeps on the way he's going, most likely I will die a slow, painful death because of what he did and what his wife did. And if he wants to run into the sunset and live in Fantasyland and put his fingers in his ears and go, la, 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 he is just some crazy person. He's a liar. He's a thief. Yeah, all these things. Yeah, I can prove it. I can prove it. I can prove it. Yeah, my wife brought him to this place and this place and this place. got him to say this and got him to say this, and my wife said this, and they approved of this, and they approved of this, and we had this medication, and this medication, and this medication, and this medication. Oh yeah, and we had all these medications in Westford, and then we had almost none in Texas, and then we just stopped all medication and threw them in New Mexico, and then we stopped all medication in Maine. But then when we went back in Mass, it's all crazy, more medications and more crazy stories, and he's jumping in pools, catching his feet, and my wife is calling doctors saying it's self-harming, and doctors are over-medicating him with drugs that people are getting lawsuits for today. I telling the doctor I can't sleep, and he's giving me 800 milligrams of Seroquel. Actually went from 600 to 800, 200 of trazodone, 200 of trazodone, 150 of Thorazine. You got Lamictal, Risperidone, all at once. And what am I taking all these for? Well, according to me, just sleep. That's all I wanted was sleep. Why the hell am I taking? I'm 16 years old, asking a doctor at Bridgewell Counseling in Chelmsford. I'm asking him if I can sleep, and he's giving me a cocktail like this fucking shit. And then the Ritalin, the medication that's helping, they put me in some fucking hospital and they pull it away. The one med that actually does something. I mean, yeah, it makes my neurological disorder worse. So when they pulled it away, I realized, oh, well, that feels a little better. But now I just can't concentrate or read a book. Well, I mean, I can read, but I have to do it in sessions. Okay. And I'm hyper now. I have unlimited energy. Great. But all this other shit is making me worse. Fuck. And now I don't know how to sleep. Fuck. My mother's never allowed me to learn how to sleep. Fuck. She's over medicated me every night of my life. Fuck. What else did she do? Holy shit, fuck. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. The more older I get, the more, oh, fucks. That's not normal. Oh, fuck. My mother's a liar. Oh, fuck. That's not normal. Oh, fuck. That means something else. Oh, fuck. My mother's lying. Oh, fuck. The longer you go, when you take the facts that I have of me and my mother, and some of these doctor's appointments, and some of the things she did, and some of her excuses, and some of my dad's excuses, they just don't add up. But if you just look at them clearly in order from age 7 to 12 or 7 to 19 or whatever, it makes perfect sense what was going on. My mother was a nut, and she was trying to push a narrative to cover up what really happened. The real world sucks. Oh boy, the real truth sucks. I know it because it hurts me every day. I'm literally feeling my nervous. I've actually twitched a couple times into a bottle while just trying to talk. Yeah, you probably heard it bang, bang, bang. As I'm talking, I'm kind of spasming a little bit. It doesn't hurt. I mean, barely a tap, but maybe you heard it. Like, oh, yeah, my leg just did it, my right arm. Happens my whole life. People have been seeing it since age 7, since the overdose. Never before that, though. I never even had it before that. No. I wanted to know why I felt different. I wanted to know why things were a little different. I even told Dr. Rosenblum about a tick, but they didn't give a fuck. He was getting all the information he needed for his book off my mother. He was perfectly happy having me draw pictures, telling me to let everything go, and telling me everything was a side effect from a medication when it fit him, like my twitches or ticks or my shaky leg or whatever. It was complete nonsense because he was just getting fed by my mother, and that's a problem. That's a big problem.